Let's take you through the G chord. So there's lots of versions of G. I'm going to cover just the basic ones, the G major and the G minor, in a couple of positions. So the first one we'll do is the G major open chord. So if we take our second finger and we put that on the 3rd fret on the top E string, then we put our first finger on the A string on the 2nd fret, and then we put our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the B string at the bottom, and then we put our 4th finger on the little E at the bottom of the 3rd fret. And if we play through from the top, that's a G major. So if we pluck through the notes, so we'll now play the G major with a bar chord. The lowest you can play is down here on the 3rd fret. So we put our bar across all of the strings, and then we use our E major shape, which is here, and move that up. So we've got the 2nd finger right here on the 4th fret. So I'll take you through the notes anyway. So we've got the bar across all of the strings on the 3rd fret. Then we've got our 2nd finger goes on the G string on the 4th fret. Then we've got our 3rd finger goes on the A string on the 5th fret. And the 4th finger sits below that, right there on the D string on the 5th fret. So if we play through from the top, it just has a slightly different ring because the open G major has got a few open strings, hence the name open, and it just gives it a different tone. And it really depends on the sound you're going for. I find the bar chords are quite closed and they have a very sealed nature. They're just like, they're contained, whereas the G open chord, it has more of a ring and more of an openness to it. So we'll take you through the G minor chord now, and we'll go back to our shape here, the G major, and all we have to do here is take our 2nd finger off, and that comes from the flattening of that note. So if we go from the major to minor, all we're doing is flattening the 3rd note of the scale. And if you need a bit of support for your bar, just put your 2nd finger on top and it'll just give you that bit more weight. There's a couple more versions I'd like to go through, which is the G major right up here on the 10th fret. So we bar the 10th fret, but we don't play the top E string. So we want to bar from the A string. And then we put our A shape on. Using the 1 finger here is probably the most straightforward way of doing it. We've got our 3rd finger goes across the D, the G and the B string on the 12th fret. Played all the way through from the A string. It's a really high pitched note there. And we can actually have a bit of a play with this one. This is why I prefer this version to the one that you might have seen, because higher up the guitar it's actually very difficult to get your fingers within 1 fret. It is possible, but I find it much easier to play with the 2 fingers. So we can hammer on our little finger and get some suspended action going on. And all we're doing there is putting our little finger on the B string on the 13th fret. So we can play a G minor in this position as well, and we're basically playing the A minor shape after the 10th fret bar. So we take the 10th fret bar, we put our 2nd finger there on the 11th fret on the B string, and then we take our 3rd finger, put that on the D string on the 12th fret, and then we put our 4th finger on the G string, also on the 12th fret, and we get this sound when we play from the A string. So we can hear that change again, and all we're doing again is flattening the 3rd note. You can see each of these chords has a completely different sound, even though they're very, very similar. So we've got the G major open, the G bar chord on the 3rd fret, G major, and we've got the G minor on the third fret, and then we've got our G major on the 10th fret, and the G minor on the 10th fret. They're all very different. And it really depends on what sound you're going for. So have a play, see how you get on. Cheers.